Well, I've got an indoor project today for once. I've got pots and pans and bowls and stuff kicking around in this drawer, and we've just been kind of wrapping hand towels around them and things to keep them from rattling and flying about. So today's job is to shadow them in with some foam. So we ordered some nice stainless bowls from Hydro Flask and matching plates, and then we've got a 10-inch skillet and an 8-inch skillet, I think. So and a lid. So these items are going to get shattered into the drawer. There should still be some room around them, and I can add some other stuff later. But for the moment, that's the job. I've got a piece of black foam. And I've got a piece of white foam. I'm going to put the white foam underneath and then cut through the black, and then I'm going to be using the white foam to kind of be a layer in between some stuff. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. First thing I need to do is get this piece cut out nice and square and get it into the drawer. So let's get started. Alright, I got this hole about 95% of where I wanted it with a box cutter, and then I heated up the pan and just kind of worked it in here a little bit. If you're going to try that at home, make sure you've got a foam that's going to be amiable to being melted a little bit. I didn't impart anything onto my pan. So anyway, it's a really nice snug fit now. You can see a little bit of an indentation from where the two rivets for the handle are. And so that's going to, I think, stay in place quite nicely. As soon as that thing cools off here, I'll bring it over and show how it's going to sit. This particular drawer is exactly 18.5 inches each way, so I can rotate this 90 degrees if I decide I wanted these in a different orientation. But because of the way this opens in the van, the bed kind of extends over this, so I'm often grabbing this pan out from underneath the bed, so that's why I've set it up this way, so I can easily grab it. So that's both pans in there. They sit very nicely. They're not going anywhere. They don't touch the sides of the drawer. I've got room in front and behind. These are full extension ball bearing slides, so I've got room in front and behind to add smaller items if I want to later. It's not a super efficient use of space. You could stack all this stuff up with dish towels like we've been doing and cram a lot more crap into this drawer. Currently we have an awful lot of free space in the drawers free space in the cabinets. We just want to be organized, so this will make it a little bit easier and packing up a little bit faster as well. When we're packing up in the morning is a big deal. A lot of times we're on the road. We stop somewhere to camp and we want to get an early start. So after I make breakfast, it's nice to be able to not have to come up with 4 dish towels to stack up in between all this stuff. Anyway, next step, I'm going to take a piece of the white foam and I'm going to cut it out to fit in here the best I can. And then these will sit inside that relief so that they won't rattle around or damage the pan. And then this silicone lined lid will just sit on top. So that'll be that side. And then I'll be doing the same thing with the drawers on the smaller pan. So we've got all the same things we had in the drawer before. It's just a lot more organized and a lot less rattling. So like I said, I'll come up with a clever use of space for the rest of the stuff later, but this is the game plan for now. This is the first insert. It's real simple. Just cut out a piece of foam and then heated it up a little bit and put the bowl in there. It's not perfect, but it'll certainly keep the bowls in place. And I'll put a little piece of foam underneath it to make sure that these bowls can't come in contact with the pan surface. Certainly wouldn't want them vibrating on a long trip. But that's the idea. It'll keep those solid, and I do not like the one I made for this side, so I'm going to cut something else out. And it should be very similar. And that'll be all. If you are endeavoring to do this yourself, make sure you have a very sharp razor blade, have a few replacements on hand. Foam dulls razor blades really quickly, and you'll get a lot cleaner cuts and a lot better of a finish if you have fresh blades. Alright, this is the finished product. I just used one of the leftover pieces of foam, cut another ring out. You could use a piece of cloth as well. In fact, the foam may have some loose pieces come off which you wouldn't want to get in your food. So I heated it up a bit with a heat gun to kind of keep everything bound. So we'll see how it does. If that doesn't work well, I'll cut a piece of round cloth and throw that in there. But that works out great. Dishes go in, stay nice and secure. The lid fits on perfectly. And now we've got all of our bowls and all of our plates and pans nice and solid when we're driving. And they'll be real quick to get out and put back. If we want to throw dish towels in here with it, we can fold them up and put them on top. So there's lots of ways you could do this. Since I did the layer on the bottom is about an inch thick, so you could easily, maybe an inch and a quarter, you could easily use a thinner piece of foam on the bottom. It's pretty much just wasted space. So I can do that and drop the drawer height down some to make more room for things. There's a lot of other options, but this gives you an idea if you wanted to shadow any of your pans. You could also shadow spots for your utensils and things like that. But Anyway, I'll be doing some more on other drawers, and I'll be adding some things to these drawers, so drop by and subscribe to the channel. I'm slowly working through the organizational problems that we encounter as we're driving. We're getting ready to leave on a 5,000-mile road trip, so we really want to make sure the last few of these things are buttoned down. We don't know what we're going to encounter as far as rough roads and things like that. So anyway, hope this helps. Have a good one.